everyone, I'm Esther Kovac, co-founder of Drone Talks, and today here I'm with Julia, who is the head of business development Europe at Eve Air Mobility. Hi, Julia.
Hello, Esther. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Amazing. So, we chit-chat always with Juliana. We meet at events and, we share opinions. And, but before we deep jump into the topics, if someone doesn't know, Eve, what do you do? What is going on, at your side? Just, broadly.
Okay, so just giving a quick overview about Eve. So Eve Air Mobility is the first spin-off from Embraer. That's an airplane manufacturer that's based in Brazil and that has offices all over the world. Embraer has the experience of certifying and manufacturing and supporting aircrafts all over the world, so for more than 50 years. In different segments, so commercial aviation, executive aviation, and also defense. So a few years ago, we started this project of looking at urban air mobility at Embraer, and we saw potential for this market, and we just decided to invest in it, to really study into this market, and then we just decided to do this spin-off, and now we have Eve. And Eve Air Mobility is based in Brazil, in the US, and we have people all over the world working on it.
So, what are the best use cases to substitute other, solutions and use eVTOL?
Okay.
How can it be a reality, not just, something what we're talking about and getting to the Olympics,
Yeah, so just going back a little bit because I just forgot to say about what we are developing, right? So we are developing an eVTOL, that's an electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft for 4 passengers and 1 pilot. We are now looking at different types of use cases. We have the biggest, let's say, backlog in terms of letters of intent with customers all over the world. And we are working with these 26 customers right now to see where we are going to place these first eVTOLs. And everything starts with, where these eVTOLs are going to be operated and which kind of use cases they are going to be used. So, for example, we look at touristic use cases that we might replace some of the helicopters that are performing these routes. We look at airport shuttle use cases. That's where you need to save time, right? So I'm from São Paulo in Brazil, and to go from downtown to the international airport, you can take a lot of time. So 2 hours, 3 hours, depending on traffic. And this could be a 15-minute flight. So you can save a lot of time by using eVTOLs. Then you have other use cases for air taxi, so connecting one point from the city to the other. We are looking at some use cases, for example, in Norway, where you can connect regions that are really far away and that people are moving using ferries or cars that, because of the geography, it could take more than 2 hours to go from one city to the other, and it could be also a 20 or 15 minutes flight. So you can add time. You can save time for these people that are living in this region. And there are also applications, for example, cargo or medevac use cases. Also in Norway, we see some uses, for example, instead of building hospitals all over the country, in these regions that they are not very populated, so there are already some PSO flights that the government subsidizes that. So you can have people not on emergency cases, but they can go to doctors in other cities using these flights that are being performed by the local airlines in the region. And then we can look at potential use cases just like that, using eVTOLs just to move people to a doctor appointment or dentist appointment. So there are several use cases, and depending on the region of the world, you can apply different types of use cases.
So my question is that, what do you think? Those use cases are really beneficial for the society, or is it something what government benefits from, or who are the main user of these eVTOL services? What do you think, or what's your vision? We don't know maybe today, but what's the vision of?
Yeah. So the vision of our company is to have a product that will be available to all. So we are not only looking at the high net worth individual.
Yeah.
So ideally, we are looking at a solution that will be integrated to the means of transportations that exist today. So trains, buses, metros, and roads. So of course, we are not going to replace metros, right? But we are adding another choice, another type of transportation to the ones that exist today. So let's suppose that you need to go from point A to point B, and today you just spend a lot of time. You can have the eVTOL journey on the middle of that journey that you are performing today, and you can save, I don't know, a few hours on your day, and then you can decide to take an eVTOL, pay a little bit or for that, right? Because you'll be saving this time, and then you can spend more time with your family. You can do whatever you want, right? So it's all about a time savings. So this is what we bring with eVTOL operations.
It makes sense. I'm a business owner, right? Like if I want to send one of my team members super quickly to a meeting, and I need that person be there because they can make revenue to me. It's just I don't want to waste my team member time 2 hours in a tube. That's even for me as a business owner is an opportunity to just quickly send anyone in my team, be there, and don't need to be 2 hours in a London traffic, So I think a lot of business benefits as well, on those use cases where what my business is going to use it, as a way of transportation. Now they use private jets sometimes, or, these kind of things. So I'm just wondering, what's next for AVE? What is basically the vision? You're working on the European extension, if I understand well. So, what is next regarding that?
So at EVE, we are developing the eVTOL that I talked about, but we are not only developing the eVTOL. So we are working also on the development of services and support that will be really important for the operation of these vehicles, just like training, maintenance, everything that will support this operation. We are also working on urban air traffic management systems that will be also important to enable the scalability of these operations. And we are also working with partners because it's not only about certifying, delivering, and supporting these aircrafts. We also need to have places where these aircrafts are going to land and take off, right? So we need to work with infrastructure partners and also with municipalities, with governments. We need to work on public acceptance because it's a totally new product, a totally new type of transportation, and we need to have people willing to fly these vehicles. So we need to inform them about the benefits of having these vehicles flying in the near future. So our entry to service is 2026. So we have just a few years, right, to working on it, and it's a huge work. So we are now working with our current partners in order to make this happen.
So you mentioned 4-seat, 1 pilot.
Yes.
And what is autonomy? What about autonomy here? What's the vision towards to that?
So we understand that autonomy is very important, and it's important also to help on the scalability of these operations. Because as soon as you can remove the pilot from the cockpit, you can reduce the operational costs, and then you can also add more seats to the cabin. In our case, when autonomy is available, and it is, let's say, the certification authorities approve this. And also another point is about the public acceptance, right? So when the public are not afraid to fly in a vehicle without a pilot, so we can reconfigure our cabin and then add 2 more seats to the eVTOL. By doing that, we can reduce the operational costs because we won't have the pilot anymore, but you also have more revenue opportunities because instead of 4 seats only, you would have 6. By doing that, you can, let's say, increase the number of people that will be willing to fly on that vehicle because the average ticket price can be reduced. So only by doing that, you can also increase the number of vehicles that would be available on that type of operations, those use cases that I mentioned before. Mainly the air taxi use cases and the airport shuttle use cases, because this is a market that needs volume, right, in order to achieve these lower operational costs and also these lower average ticket price for the
Yes.
public. Yeah.
Now, that sounds super interesting, Juliana. Anything else to share? You know, how do you feel yourself at the conference? You know, what's your vision or anything what you want to share with the audience?
So I think that I leave the conference with, let's say, I'm very inspired about different types of discussions that we had here, not only related to the development of the vehicles, but also the challenges that we have.
Yeah.
But I think that we see some development, right? The development in terms of regulations, technologies. So it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, but a matter of when. And we already have these dates, right? So we have different dates depending on different OEMs. I can say by for us,
say,
right,
say, please.
that we are talking about 2026 as our entry to service. There's a lot of things going on, so a lot of events, a lot of sports events that I think that will help on public acceptance and to talk more about eVTOL operations, urban air mobility, advanced air mobility in general. So I think that this is the main message here. That's not a matter of if, but a matter of when, and we already have some dates in place.
That sounds amazing, you know. 2026 is not that far, actually, you know, like it's just around the corner. So I'm going to be one of the first users of EVE Air Mobility. I hope I get a half price coupon from Juliana. I'm really going to use, you know, I'm not afraid. I'm a big fan of this solution. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you so much.